Hello everybody, this is Living World of Darkness New York, the vampire venue, the Camarillo. Today we have Lady Aribeth has invited Lady Sheridan to her clinic, through the Harpy Limey. And Aribeth get a confirmation that Lady Sheridan will be at the clinic. She is happy that she will meet with Ventrue in the town. And Aribeth will be waiting for Lady Sheridan to come into clinic.
Lady Sheridan will arrive 3 minutes early. Just early enough that she can be sure that she won't be late, but not so early as to be noticeable. And she will knock on the door to the clinic.
There's a secretary who will open the door. Then she's expecting the Lady Sheridan. And she will go through another room, and the door will open by Lady Aribeth. The secretary will return her place. You will see a friendly-faced woman, apparently three, and well, she's quite nice, and she always follows the fashion.
Lady Sheridan will smile. Lady Aribeth, I presume?
Yes, Lady Aribeth, and the Lady Aribeth go through the door, and when you go through the door too, you will see this room here. Yes, this room, and there's somewhere that you can lay if you want to, or somewhere that we can sit in front of each other, like we will see our faces. And well, yes, so Lady Sheridan, where you want to sit? You want to sit, or well, you may lay if you wanted to.
I would generally prefer to sit.
Okay. Lady Aribeth will sit and probably you will sit in front of her, yes, as you have said before. And can you roll perception alertness for me?
Yeah. Though you might have to bring up the dice thing because Google has removed it from mine for some unknown reason.
Oh, okay.
Aha, there we go. And now it has reappeared on my side thing. So I can open it. Google is weird. Perception and alertness. Now just double check what they are. Not her best ones, and that is presumably a botch.
Oh, botch.
I guess so, because difficulty is usually 6.
Yeah, okay. You don't notice nothing. It's really, really nice. Nothing can happen here. Okay.
Well, Lady Sheridan will sit opposite Lady Aribeth with her legs crossed at the ankle.
Mm-hmm. I am Lady Aribeth Atalamarand, the child of Sir Sheridan. I am an Ancilla, and I am from Clan Ventrue.
Very nice to meet you.
It is also nice to meet you too, Lady Sheridan.
I have recently come from New Orleans.
I heard the Anarchs got the New Orleans for themselves.
They did. And unfortunately, the most recent Baron to claim ascension decided that he would not tolerate my presence.
That is sad.
Certainly inconvenient.
I was always at the psychiatrist. I was always interested in psychiatry, and well, I became one. My father he was also interested in psychology, human psychology. And yes, here I am. I earned quite a name for myself in the psychiatric circles, and that's something my sire would take notice, I believe. I came from the Washington, but it's also fell to some other sects.
My sympathies. These matters are rather inconvenient.
So, Lady Sheridan, I would like to know more about you.
There is not much to tell. I was chosen for my contacts, but many of those were left behind. They are not much use from such a great distance. So I am forced to start over. Thankfully, our new prince, Mr. Silas, was kind enough to give me a domain upon my arrival.
Ah, that is kind. I still need to meet with Mr. Silas. He is too busy for the war efforts that are happening in here. And I am, because of my job, I'm also busy too.
Yes, it can be quite hard to arrange meetings. Fortunately, well, fortunately in this instance anyway, I have rather less to occupy my time since my arrival than I did prior to leaving New Orleans. But I'm sure that will soon pick back up again.
Well, if there's any way that I can help you, Lady Sheridan, I would like to help you too. For getting your things back up.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what direction to head at this point. I had a very lucrative business, but that has been left behind, and I'm not sure whether to rebuild or to consider a new direction. But as I've been tasked with gaining media influence, I shall focus on that while I make my decision.
So you have told me that you have come to the city. You're quite new. So what do you think about New York?
It is interesting. I can't help but think that there's some rather gaping holes in our influence for a Camarilla city. But that can be quite useful for me to find ways to fill them. It is rather unfortunate that someone wasn't more on task with media influence before the rampage of the Sabbat through the streets.
That's always done the same to everywhere. I was also interested in influence in the Washington. Well, they have done what they have done.
What are your thoughts of the city, as someone who has been here slightly longer?
I'm trying to have, well, let's just say like this. New York was always New York, and it's quite better than Washington. The Washington was more like a place. It's Washington is a place for Ventrue who has interested in the business, being interested in the being quite influenced in the CEOs. But here, Washington, the New York is also like that. But we have art in here. We have all kinds of different things in New York. So I am more interested in New York, let's say.
There is a pleasant variety.
The Let's say that when I was in the Washington, the when I do the performance with my piano, there were a lot of people, yes, but I believe that in New York people more into the art here than Washington. They feel the music in.
And yet we have a regrettable lack of toreador.
Yes, I don't know what happened to the toreadors, but I know one, Mr. Peck. I'm already in a business with Mr. Peck. He is quite nice person, individual.
Well, from what I've heard, he is the only one in the city. Which strikes me as unusual.
I remember a gossip from Washington that there was a rock star in the New York, that college rock star, for she has the same appearance for nearly 40 years. Well, when I was in college in New York, she was kind of star for everybody. But when I become what I am now, I understand what she is. Probably she was a tornado. I don't know what happened to her.
Well, if someone's going to maintain their fame with the same appearance for 40 years, sooner or later, it's going to be recommended for them to move on.
Of course.
Whether forcibly or otherwise.
So, have you have any interest other than influence in the city?
I'm feeling my way, getting used to all of the different aspects of the city, seeing where the opportunities lie. Let's just say that I'm open-minded as to what New York can offer.
I believe that New York has a lot to offer to anybody. There is a lot of pies from that cake, let's say. A lot of pieces, I'm sorry.
And it is very much the interest of any Ventrue to gather as many of those as possible.
Aribeth looks through her clinic, like looks at the books, looks at there's a piano in the clinic, and yes, it is. And then look back at you, straight back at you.
And Lady Sheridan will smile.
I have met with Mr. Peck, Limey, and I believe that I have met with the old Ventrue Primogen. The hand, not the Primogen.
Indeed.
I have also met with the Frank Green, Sheriff of our dear city. And Ghost, yes, Ghost.
Ghost is quite the character.
Well, I have met with the version of Ghost, not the true herself, I believe.
Well, we are all more complex than we choose to appear.
Yeah. Are you close with Ghost?
I am working on building an association.
Coterie or just an association?
That is something to discuss.
I already told Limey that I am interested in coteries in the city. This is dangerous times and we need coteries to maintain business. The Sabbath is just not going to attack the individuals in the city. They are also going to attack the businesses soon.
Well, let us hope that we're able to deal with some of the worst members of the Sabbat.
Yes, I hope our sheriff and the hounds in the city will be able to handle this situation.
And we must give them our full support.
Yes, we must.
Of course, each of us must work to our strengths. So I am focusing on the masquerade, at least for the meantime. It is sorely lacking in defense.
Do you know what happened to Jonathan Warren the Pond?
No? I believe he defected.
Do you know
Out of
what happened?
character,
Yeah,
I know that he's dead, but I know that the announcement has not actually been made in
okay.
character.
Well, I'm just, oh, see, I'm just trying to be a little bitch and making gossips with you.
Ah, cool.
um, have you met with our last prince, the
No,
icebreaker?
no, I merely met with Mr. Silas upon my arrival in the city, who has now become our prince.
The When I came to the city was the Bruja icebreaker. Lennison was his name. Lennison was the prince, and you know how he became the prince?
Not especially.
There was a Ventrue prince at that time. For 20 minutes.
I take it something interesting happened.
Yes, the icebreaker came. Icebreaker became the prince. I have heard it from the Washington, and the prince was Jonathan Voorhees the Pawn's sire.
I see the man whose mansion I now have.
The It is strange that how many kindreds just coming someone powerful and just lose what he or she has in 20 minutes.
Very true. This is why prudence is ever important, and why it is good to have friends,
Yes.
in so much as any of us can have friends.
It's part of our nature that, well, that's what I have got from the people or the kindreds in the city. Well, I'm a psychiatrist and I have made vows. I can't tell anything outside of this room to anybody. Well, even I'm saying that whatever we speak between in this room will not go to other places, but well, who will trust the kindred?
Very true.
Hmm. And I remember there was once in Washington there was a ghoul, and she didn't understand what I am. She was telling me about her side, how she or he acts against her. Well, I didn't tell anything to her sire. Well, maybe I should have, but I didn't. I made vows, as I have said before.
We all have to walk a fine line between what we share and what we keep to ourselves.
Hmm.
I generally prefer to err on the side of keeping things to oneself.
Well, I know that some clan, which I don't want to name now, that most of their neonates has been uh, usually killed by their sires because they can't keep their mouth shut. Just guess what clan is it?
I would guess our dear sorceress friends.
No, not the Tremere actually. It's the Bruja.
Indeed, that is quite unusual for them. But they do have a temper.
They do. Well, they do have their tempers, and we do have our words.
And some of them are known to extend into folly. I truly hope that our harpy and our dear friend Ghost are not among them.
Yes, I hope so too. We need. We don't need Brujas, or we don't need, for example, we don't need Ventrus who just trying to Google us for no reason. We have people like that in Washington. And we don't need Brujas that don't do anything, just berserk. Or we don't need Toreadors who can't keep their mouth shut also.
Yes,
This.
we don't need anyone that can't keep their mouth shut.
Yes, actually.
There is a reason why the masquerade is the first tradition.
Is there anybody who break the masquerade in 2 months? Or in your watch? Or
Other than the Sabbat.
yeah, other than the Sabbath, of course.
Not since I've arrived in the city, to my knowledge.
I understand.
But
In the
whether
age
it
of
is but whether it is us breaking it or someone else, it is important that we shore it up.
hmm, in the age of the video cameras, atomic bombs, she just looks at the medicines that she has in the clinic, and then turns in the age of all the technology and things we have. The masquerade is, of course, is the most important.
Of course. And yet it is the one that is so greatly taken for granted.
Hmm.
Ah well.
So there is Ghost, Limey, Mr. Peck, our dear Prince Mr. Silas, and I can't find any. I haven't met with lots of kindred in the city, but well, is I presume it's not the all.
Of course not. I can't say that I know all of them, but there were quite a large gathering present at the War Council recently.
I wasn't unable to go to the War Council as much as I wished to go to. Well,
Of course, I assume you've met Jan Peterzoon.
well, you'll be surprised. No, I haven't. The Jan Peterson was outside of the city, and he had more business than I thought.
I see.
I was supposed to meet him in the War Council, but yes, I couldn't. I will. We're still trying to set a hour to meet with Jan Peterson. I heard a lot of things about him in the Washington from my sire and from the other individuals.
Well, as our current primogen, he will need to address the matter of the various Ventrue in the city, I suppose. Especially
Yeah,
if he has yet to meet you.
we have the business of the listening to people's problems and trying to advise them takes a lot of my time.
I understand. There is never a shortage of problems.
The and being famous in the psychiatric circles also takes time. Well, when I came to New York, I was saying myself that I won't be stressed as I was in Washington, but I am more stressed in here. I only can go to operas or the things that keeps myself with my old self only in a week, and in that time the other persons are becoming
Have you
busy.
considered delegating?
Delegating what? Sorry?
Well, you have presumably a lot of clients, and if they put such high demands on your time, have you considered delegating a few of them, the less valuable ones, of course, to a assistant counselor of some kind?
Yeah, I already gave the word on the some newspapers. I'm looking for someone that I can trust and someone actually has good high grades. It's hard to find them, but I need someone that we who can I trust and people can trust. I don't only talk with the individuals who just came. Sometimes I go near them because they don't want to be seen in here or they don't want to be known that they see me. It is quite different than just do like a business with like the other Ventrues in the Washington. They have always seen me that I am doing something, not respectable, let's say. But well, not the all has seen me. That's why I have been named as Ansela, of course.
Well, some people are so narrow-minded as to what is or is not appropriate.
Yes, they are. The Aribeth just go to some. There's just something through the wall, and he will just do something that press button or different, something other than pressing a button, and there will be a fridge. She will take a glass for herself. Well, I would like to give you, but I know that we just can't take
Certainly
drinks from
not
the
without knowing
others. And
significantly more about the origins.
yeah, and She will take a class for just herself. So. Oh, see, it is actually sucks to not be able to give blood to other Ventrue.
Actually, she wouldn't have accepted it anyway.
Yeah, but like we don't, our weaknesses sucks.
Yeah, but no, Lady Sheridan would not trust blood from anyone.
Yeah, also Lady Aribeth. Playing the game safe is always good.
Oh, definitely. She's had the experience of a blood bond before. She does not want it again.
So, who was your sire, Lady Sheridan? Who is your sire?
Uh, Out of character, I just need to grab my sheet.
Okay.
This is a problem with multiple characters.
Yeah.
They remember stuff. Yes. Julian Winters.
Uh, have I heard about him or her?
It's possible. He doesn't have any fame or anything, but it's possible that you would have heard that he went missing about a year ago,
Okay.
presumed dead, and his body. Well, no, you probably wouldn't have heard about his body being found because that was after the Anarchs took over.
Okay. Oh, I am so sorry, Lady Sheridan. I have heard that he is missing. Presumably dead.
We've confirmed his death
Uh,
at the hands of the Sabbat.
my sympathies. I am sorry for reminding that.
She doesn't seem particularly bothered in the slightest.
Do you want me to roll? Do you want me to roll perception empathy?
You can if you want to.
Okay, and difficulty is it 6 or you can set more
No,
higher?
six seems reasonable.
3 successes.
Yep, you'll notice that she's not at all upset.
Hmm.
She doesn't bother making a huge effort to hide it, but she's not going to be blatant about it either.
Yeah. Well, have you heard about the surgery again, my sire?
Pardon?
Have you heard about my sire, Sir Dean?
Not particularly. I'm sure I've heard the name before, which makes an exception.
Hmm. He's well known in America. He was someone that he knew how to play the game, let's say.
Well, hopefully he has taught you well in that area.
Hmm. He tried.
Although sometimes we learn as much from the failures as the successes of our sires.
That's actually what just Jonathan DuPont told me when I first met him.
Interesting. I've never met him.
I have seen him 3 times. He reminded me my sire when in our second meeting. In the third, I was suspecting that he would turn. She's not lying, by the way, Elsie. I was suspecting that there's something different with him. He was like a sympathizer of Sabbath, but I was a new individual in the city, and he was carrying 3 titles. so I don't want to say anything in the city. But well, he did what he did.
No, I certainly have no sympathy for the Sabbat.
As I am.
The Anarchs are significantly more tolerable, but Camarilla is certainly the best option in my mind.
I have heard stories about some Ventrue anarchs, but they were more interested in the organized crimes.
Well, I suppose if you must be involved in crime, it may as well be organised. Personally, I tend to avoid anything that is likely to draw as much attention.
As I am. See, I haven't really heard about the Tremere anarchs. Never in my life.
Neither have I.
I have seen some Toreador anarchs, Nosferatu anarchs, well, Malkavians,
There was
Bruja.
quite a pleasant Toreador Anarch that was Baron of the area I lived in for a while.
Uh, well,
Quite reasonable.
there are. Well, the rebel rousers, the Bruja, they sometimes they do talk. They make sense. Like I'm talking about not the Camarilla anarchs, Bruja. They had the passion that of being right, and they do sometimes. But the problem with them is they don't know what to do after 10 years. They don't have long plans.
No. Now, you cannot truly judge a clan because any individual can vary from it, but I do know what you mean about the Bruja as a whole.
Well, I'm more talking about the sect, not just the clan, because like I like the Bruja, and they at least they are staying as the Camarilla, unlike other clans. She's mentioning the Gangrel. They are whatever they do, they still follow the Bruja, the Camarilla.
That is true.
They respect our laws, and they tend to be the first, if it's not first, the second, when there's a problem.
That is very true. When they aren't the cause of the problem.
Of course. So should we just talk about the clans? How about Malkavians?
I have little experience with Malkavians as yet. I think it likely that it is best kept that way. As much as the Malkavians are a respectable clan, the individuals vary drastically, and I would prefer to deal with one or two individual Malkavians that are relatively stable than have to deal with the clan as a whole.
Have you ever been a psychiatrist? Or have you ever had a close psychiatrist friend?
I have studied aspects of psychology.
So it is not a secret that every psychiatrist has a psychiatrist.
No, it is not a secret nor a surprise.
Well, I had a psychiatrist in Washington, which was a Malkavian.
They do have significant insight into the matters.
Yes. And I it was interesting to talk about the clans and politics, and also kindred mind with him. I do respect Malkavians more than I do to other clans.
I respect them. I just respect them for the most part from a distance.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. As I said, individual Malkavians can be quite agreeable, but if you are not certain quite how they will react or respond, it is rather harder to rely upon them.
Have you ever been on a mission on the fighting with Sabbath, or just mission of Camarilla which needs skills of the physical skills that the
I'm not generally selected for physical skills.
as I am. There was a uh, I heard from a kindred in the city. Like the before I came to the city, there was a Malkavian, and he was an harpy. Whenever there is a fight with Sabbath, because of his old problem that he had, an old prince, he show up. He wasn't a hound, but he showed up. He showed up to help.
Which is admirable.
It is, and he didn't have any skills in combat, but he was there, and
I would have thought if you were so determined to show up every time, it might be worth developing some skills in combat.
well, yeah, but he didn't care maybe. And then there was a one person in the city which betrayed to Camarilla, and he went after him because it was his old friend, and he was honored by the city. That Malkavian was honored in the city because he sacrificed his life to save the others. I'm actually quite I was quite surprised when I heard about this story. It's made me kind of sad. Even we have told that we don't trust each other, but just imagine kindred carrying back things on their clothes because of that individual for a month.
It is certainly an interesting story.
So our our team came to, well, Nosferatu? Our Prince Nosferatu.
Well, the Nosferatu are always respectable. I am quite interested in whom he will select as seneschal, though.
As I am. Well, I haven't met with a lot of persons, but I haven't seen someone as essential material, let's say.
Neither have I so far.
So how about Tremere?
The Tremere are Tremere. They're always Tremere first.
Our closest allies and rivals.
They are always Tremere first. I respect the Tremere, but I do not think that they would be good candidates for seneschal. Because the duty of the seneschal is to the city, not to their clan.
Yeah. They're dangerous, secretive, and without dignity. That's what I believe about Tremere. They are the. Let's just say I not generalize with all of them, but sometimes I question myself that what would they do in a place when they were replaced with that Malkavian that I just talked about.
I suppose it depends on whether their queen bee would be around. They are rather like a hive. As I said, the Tremere are ever respectable. They are ever dangerous and never to be underestimated, but they're always Tremere first. I do not think that Tremere would make good seneschal material.
How about the gangrels in the city? I have heard our sheriff is a gangrel, and I haven't met with any gangrels, but he was talking about the family and stuff, so I believe that there are other gangrels in the city.
I have met with two.
Oh.
The gangrel primogen and our gangrel sheriff. The primogen, he has some potential. But I rather get that he has more interests and could not devote himself to the job. He is perhaps the best candidate that I know so far, other than our own.
Other than?
Well, there are 4 Ventrue that I know of. And whilst I might not know yourself particularly well as yet, I could say that any one of us would be reasonable.
You will see the Lady Aribeth smiles, like you might just understand that she was going to say the same if you didn't say this. Like she counted all the clans in the Camarilla, and it came to Ventrue last. There's only one trader in the city, so like we already talked about traders. Leon, Peter,
The
Zuna.
gangrel is a possibility.
But you believe well, actually, we believe that the Ventrue in a position of the seneschal will make sense. Then again,
Of course, because we have a reputation to maintain which has been sorely damaged, and so the drive and motivation to repair it. The betrayal of one of our own is something that we need to address. And as such, the role of seneschal would be a primary duty rather than secondary to one's own purposes.
yes. Well, Lady Sheridan, you do say it well, actually. It is sad that we had lost Cat in the Pond. The way that he was not okay. But it is nice to have. Yeah.
Regrettably, I have only been in the city a very short time and have yet to gain much in the way of reputation.
It is kind of nice to have someone that I can speak about politics and other clans.
It is somewhat refreshing to relax with one's own kind.
As I have said before, if you need any help about the job, the business that you will go to choose in the city, in any way that I can help, please remind me. You have my number, and I have your number.
Excellent. I doubt that I will need much help if I choose to return to my former business.
Completely
But
understandable.
this is such a place of opportunities. It may be that I might find that there is a better way to take a bite out of the big apple.
Out of character, did you tell me about your old job that you had?
Nope, I told you out of character. She
Okay,
just
thank
said that she had one and that she left it behind.
you. What was the business that you had?
Hmm.
Ger-
Uh, I shall merely describe it as entertainment.
hmm, I understand.
It's certainly something I'm looking into preparing my domain to accommodate, but whether to maintain it as a business or whether to seek a different income stream and maintain it merely for the contacts that it might provide is something to be considered. And of course, were the issue of Seneschal to result in greater demands on my time, it might be prudent to invest in a more passive income stream, one that requires less of my attention. I shouldn't like to be too busy to engage in the politics of the city. No offence to your good self.
None taken. I'm obviously lying, so uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. I have enchanting voice.
So do I, but
If you want to roll perception empathy.
oh, don't worry about it. I knew there was something I forgot to put in that bar. Anyway, of course, when you have a job that is as much a calling as a profession, it will have sizable demands on your time.
Of course, when I heard that there's a potential, well, when I heard that I have,
That there are
when there's a,
positions
yeah,
available.
yeah, when there's a position available, I will of course take some measures, as I have said that I am already looking for individuals to work from. So,
Of course, and that will certainly free up your time a lot. I'm just saying that I personally am seeking to avoid that situation rather than having to deal with it after the fact.
by the way, Lady Sheridan, I'm just not going to avoid this. Skin is so different. It is quite nice. Talking about the blush of health.
Ah. Well, it is useful. When maintaining one's activities.
Mm, I have seen someone with such an interesting skin in our mm, let's say in our species.
Well, I was always quite considerate of my skin when I was alive, so I'm quite appreciative of it now that I'm dead, so to speak.
Mm. So, Lady Sheridan, I am done with my topics. Do you have any topics to talk about? I couldn't find any more, let's say.
Well,
But I am interested in talking.
regarding the topic that you already raised, that of Seneschal, do you have an idea of who we should support? As I said, I have not been in the city long, so it is unlikely that I would be considered in the slightest, which is a shame. I do not know as yet how well you know our dear prince, and how likely you are to be considered, which then leaves our dear Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, Mr. Peterson is the
And our Honourable Scourge.
hmm,
And I rather think that he might be happy in that position.
the well. I'll be. I heard about Mr. Silas, and I believe that he would do. He is a. He is good at politics. I know that. I have heard about him a lot from my sire and the gossips in the New York, the Washington. Well,
It was certainly the impression that he gave me.
the well, there's a plan of Ventrue which they want to prove themselves that they are not the Jonathan Voorhees the Punt. And well, there is only one Toreador. There are gangrels in the city. Bruja was the old prince, was the Bruja, and well, he is left, and there's only neonates and fledglings now. Harpy is from the Bruja, and well, gangrels. Gangrel has left the Camarilla, and I don't.
Officially, indeed.
And having Sheriff from the Gangrel and having also Seneschal from Gangrel will not be effective better. So I believe the Jan Peterzoon is
Is
the
our
best choice
is
that
our
we.
primary candidate
Yeah,
by default as much as anything.
the. I hope that we will have a Ventrue meeting soon. The
I
it
very
is
much hope so as well.
when in the meeting that probably we will choose that who is going to be our candidate. And well, if we
The
and then we will
question,
find out.
though, the question, though, more than selecting a potential seneschal, is how to go about encouraging our dear Mr. Silas to make the same selection.
Well,
It is his prerogative to choose the seneschal and not ours.
of course, but the problem is that the Venture was always in the places that were needed in leading? Well, if Mr. Style says that he is not going to choose a Ventrue and he is going to choose a Gangrel, which already has one in the position of sheriff,
I
he's
should be more concerned that he might choose a Tremere.
I haven't met with the Tremors in the city.
I have not met with them particularly either, but they are a respected clan, and they are known for their dutiful natures.
Well, as you have said, Tremere are the Tremere. They will always look
Yes.
for themselves first. But
Yes, but whether he will believe that as well, it is his decision to make, and if he decides that the Tremere would make good seneschals, it might be hard to convince him otherwise.
you've heard anyone that which being talked about in good terms? Any from Tremere?
Not that I have heard so far.
I have met.
I am new to the city and do not know everyone as yet.
I actually remember that I have also met with Antonio. He is quite nice and individual. Yeah, he is. One success. So if you roll perception, you might understand that I am lying. Perception, empathy. I'm sorry.
Oh, perception, empathy. Empathy
You
is a
have
difficult
specs.
I don't have all specs, no.
If you have coldly logical as a merit, or if you had all specs rating. Okay, let's just say that it's difficulty 5 because I'm strict. I'm not keeping that very good from you. Like I'm not keeping really high. I'm not being really secretive about
And that
this.
would only be the one success anyway.
Yeah, you understand. I'm
Not
certainly
rolling well today.
She is lying. Like let's just say it's not a lie, but she's trying to be polite about it.
Hmm.
Well, we are
Well,
entering.
I'm well aware of politeness.
He is hardly essential material, but he might be the leader of the clan Tremere soon.
Tremere can lead Tremere. It's when they begin leading mixed clans and cities that the problems arise.
Well, well then we will have to look down upon Gangrels and the Bruja. Sometimes they don't like Tremere look down upon them.
I do think we should see about having a meeting with our dear Mr. Silas at some point.
Well,
Just a polite conversation, if he
yes.
happens to have some free time.
It is. It's really quite nice to have his time for our chats. And oh wait, the well, is there any anarchs in the city?
I don't know if there are any as yet. I've yet to hear of them. There may be.
So she's still trying to find an individual who might be essential. But yes, the Jan Peterson looks the best candidate right now.
He seems to be our only candidate, unfortunately.
Yeah, the politic is problem. It can be really dangerous when you make mistakes.
It is certainly something that I should hope is settled shortly, one way or another. Even if the Tremere or one of the other clans is to take the position, we will at least know who we're dealing with.
The well, when you don't get what you wanted, there's a race to do. There are other ways which we can use. Like for example, we will just well, when there is a masquerade breach. Masquerade has been breached. That is such a shame. Oh, you need our help again. I understand, Mr. Silas. That is such a shame that you had needed someone who could need aid for the masquerade. You need this kind of influence. That is such a shame. Okay, Mr. Silas. Of course we will be able to handle that.
I am working on gaining that influence. It is slow going, but it always is in these matters.
Covering the masquerade is also something we are able to do, and
it is something I have some experience with. Notably, because of one particular bruiser.
Who?
In my former city, there was a bruiser who was, shall we just say that the worst stereotypes of his clan.
Understand.
I ended up having to use my powers of the blood on 8 separate people in one night because of him and his new child that he had yet to explain any of the matters of the masquerade to. Not only did I need to use my abilities on 8 separate people, but it was 4 separate incidents.
Well, I remember because of someone I needed to take attention of people. A crowd, and it was really hard to do it. But well, of course, we will be able to remind why Camarilla needs Ventrues. Of course, there's such a kindred like Jan Petersen and us.
And he is, of course, well respected and of sizable age. The only problem is he has spent so much time out of the city lately. We do not know if he is likely to return to wherever it is that he has made his home.
Rolling, manipulation, subterfuge for hiding my emotions. No, 1 success. I probably will get a success, so you will understand. It's interesting. I'm writing at the chat. So that is quite sad too. We should have a meeting soon about this calamity and then decide who we are going to support.
And then, of course, we need to speak with our dear Mr. Silas, and in as subtle a way as possible, lead him towards the conclusion that one of us should be chosen for the position.
Yes. Lady Aribeth will look her watch and, well, look at the time. Oh, Lady Sheridan, I am truly sorry, but I haven't understand how the time passed. In, like, actually 2 minutes, I gotta take another person
I quite
to...
understand. You did say that your business keeps you rather busy. I do hope that we will be able to meet again shortly,
We will.
especially with such a major opportunity on the table.
Yes. And also, even if one of us is not chosen, or one of us is chosen, there are still positions like being harpy and, well,
Of course, we also will need a primogen, whether that is to be the same person as the seneschal or not.
yes,
It needs to be addressed if our dear Mr. Petersoon is intending to leave the city. He is our current primogen, and we'll need to leave someone in his place.
yes, and we will need a hand.
So very much opportunity that needs to be seized.
I
I'm quite sure that it will not be left
there
unattended
is,
for long.
there is only one harpy, and I haven't seen that there's head of harpies in the city too. There's a lot of there's a lot of positions to fill in this.
And the more that we can claim and fulfill prudently and with dedication, the better and sooner we can repair the reputation of our clan.
Yes.
So definitely something we need to discuss. But I would hate to keep you from your client. So I shall have to see you some other time.
Yes, he would actually hate you more than me. Aribeth raises from the set that she was sitting. It
Mhm.
was a pleasure to meeting with you and talking with you. I didn't understand how the time passed. I'm sorry. But
Well, it is always enjoyable to spend time with someone so very similar,
thank you.
almost like a reflection. Good day. And she will make her way out of the
Uh,
office.
she will come with you through the door, and she will open the door for you. And, well, after you leave, that she will say some name like Jonathan Smith, and Jonathan Smith will come through. He was sitting at the waiting room, so he will come inside.
Cool. And there I will end the scene.